Yes, my name is David Cupples. Live at 6201 Ashley Road, Arlington, Tennessee. I'm a police dispatcher. A police dispatcher for 6.5 years. I'm going to talk about the pension. Most of you should have received my email that I sent this morning. My concerns are that as a under 10-year employee, that my pension might be taken away because I have less than 10 years. My position is I am working toward being vested. I'm not planning on quitting. I'm not planning on leaving. I plan on being here at least 10 years. If I was under Social Security, which I was not given the option to sign up for when I applied for this job in 2008, the city would be paying 6.2% along with my 6.2% into the federal coffers, which I would draw at my retirement. The city's not obligated to do that because of the way the pension plan's set up. Another thing that bothers me is, as I was going through to see how much I could contribute over the years that I've been here, I have contributed roughly $25,000 to the pension plan. If the city holds up to their end of the bargain and they contribute the 6% that they're supposed to contribute, by the end of 2014, I figure they will roughly contributed $19,000 on my end for my pension benefit. If for some reason the council votes to go to a different plan, there is a item in the city, it's 428-8, that says forfeitures. If you quit, if I was to quit, I would lose all the city match. It would go back to the city in order to be used to fund the ARC in the pension. If you figure there's 2,200 or more of us that are under 10 years,
thank you,
and just using $19,000 or roughly that as that cut me off.
Your 2 minutes is up. Go ahead and conclude.
Okay. I came up with a grand total of $42 million that the city would realize by taking non-vested employees out of the pension plan. $42 million. To me, that's a pretty good motive for wanting the employees that don't have 10 years out of the plan. I don't know if any of y'all have ever run the numbers, but that's a very, very good motive to me, it looks like, because we're talking about saving money. They wanted to save $23 million by changing things around in the health plan. That's twice, almost twice what you're talking about in the health plan.
All right, Mr. Cupples, your time is up, but you do have 2 council members who'd like to talk to you. Mr. Lowry?
Okay, go ahead.
First, thank you for your service. Secondly, we have an ordinance that's running parallel with the mayor's, one that I'm sponsoring, calling for only new employees in a new hybrid plan. Those currently working 1 to 10 years would still be included. The council will have the final decision, but it's running for first reading in 2 weeks. Thank you again.
Okay, I understood that you did propose that. I understood that Chairman Strickland wanted to bring up the mayor's plan also.
They're both running on parallel tracks. Yes, sir. This council will make the final decision.
Okay, has everybody understood the 6%? Has anybody looked at the $41 million?
Your time is up.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Harris.
I thank you for making this point. I mean, I think this is a really good point, and I hope we come back to this at some point, that you're saying, and I hope it's not true, and I think we must be missing something, that you're saying if we do take the reform that the mayor's proposed, that this multiplier effect that you were previously promised will be sacrificed and that you'll never see it again. And instead, it'll go to create more solvency in our pension fund. I think we're missing something. Well, he brings out something I've never heard, so yeah, I'm calling for a discussion of it because I've never heard this, and I think that there's got to be something missing before we would confiscate the benefit of the multiplier effect that you're talking about and take it and use it for general pension solvency purposes. I know Mr. Collins is back there. I hope he heard some of this, and I hope there's an answer to this, because I just can't believe it's like what you say. I hope it's not, because if it is, it sounds really bad, really bad. But thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this out, and I'm going to make sure to stay on this and try to figure out if there's any truth to this, right? Because this would be a real hardship.
It just closes out. That's fine. If you want to say one last thing.
Okay, I don't know, like I said, how familiar most of y'all are with the ordinances. I would hope you're real familiar with it. But like I say, 428-8 talks about the forfeitures. And there's nothing in there about if the city changes the plan that you get to keep your money. The mayor did put out something a while back that said if we change you, they're going to give you 1.5% according to your years of service of whatever you have in the plan. It says nothing about the 6% that the city's supposed to be putting in. That's my whole concern. I sent an email to benefits back in July. Never received an answer. Nobody has answered my question yet. What happens to that 6% that the city's supposed to be putting in from my retirement? That's it. Thank you.
All right. I'd ask Director Collins, Brian Collins, Director Collins, if you could address Mr. Cupples' comment, not now, but if you could address that with an email to the entire council, and we'll get that to Mr. Cupples. Because the council needs to know and Mr. Cupples needs to know. Thank you. Steve Ball.